Hello, all. Welcome on into your tarot spread for the week ahead. This is for the week of Monday, May 18th, 2026. And I hope everyone is having a lovely week. Oh, there is a card right there for us. This might have actually been the card that came up last week in this particular position, but let's see. Upright this week. I hope everyone is having a lovely week. My week has calmed down a little bit. The week before I'd had some travel, needed to rest up, had some work. Not a complaint. Always happy to have work, always happy to have travel. This week, though, was more of a chill week, and I appreciate it for that. I've got to chat with my mom via the Zoom on Friday, which was lovely. Have had some interesting work stuff coming up, but happen, but it's been stuff I can do remotely or online, which is great. Oh, that one was so excited to be included in the reading, it just jumped right out of the deck. This week we are using the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess. And this is one of my favorite decks. It's one of my favorite decks for me to use personally. It's one of my favorite decks to use for other people. It draws a lot on traditional Smith-Rider-Waite imagery and Smith-Rider-Waite, I guess you could say card design or card layout, but it updates, or I should say the deck creator, Charlie Claire Burgess, they've upgraded the deck in such a way that it's very inclusive. The modern imagery is really quite lovely, in a way that sort of might help folks connect to the cards more than they would in a traditional Smith-Rider-Waite deck, and I love it for that. And maybe as evidence that this is one of my favorite decks to work with, our cards are just popping out for us today. There we go. Here's our last three. Look at that. Oh, and spoiler alert, I love that we have Seven of Pentacles here in this reading because this actually is one of my favorite depictions of Seven of Pentacles. So let's begin. As a wise woman named Julie Andrews once said, let's start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start. That is from The Sound of Music, for those of you who might not be overly familiar. And our card of the week this week, which I think it was reversed last week, but our card of the week this week is Page of Swords. So, well, maybe last week we were a little introspective. We were thinking about our own truth, what was true for us, maybe finding a connection with our authentic self. This week we're turning that outward. Let's find the truth in how we move through the world. Let's find the authenticity in how we present ourselves to others, what we choose to show to others. Let's focus on our focus and determination in our quest for knowledge or our quest for personal development, our quest for learning. Pages are very much about learning. They're very much about expanding their worldview, expanding their knowledge. They can be very very student-like, so you might quite literally be a student, in which case this is a time to really focus on your studies. This is a time to really focus on what you are trying to learn. But for all of us, wherever we are on our journey, this is a time to focus on the truth of it for us, what feels authentic to us. It, again, is a good time to focus, hunker down, get to work, thinking, not feeling. Like let's plan it out in our brains, not necessarily in our hearts, and move forward. And that is our theme of the week, our Page of Swords. For today, Monday, we have Five of Swords. So we're starting the week off with some swords energy, aren't we? With Five of Swords, we may have gone through a rough time. I mean, I think most of us in the world right now are going through a rough time, whether it's personally, whether it's nationally, internationally, whether we're just feeling the weight of everything energetically that people are dealing with. Five of Swords indicates that there has been a battle, a struggle of some sort of disagreement, some sort of energetic struggle, shall we say. It could be a physical struggle, but I hope not. I hope not for all of us that is not what you've all been going through. But some sort of a struggle. And the sun is setting on it. I love that that's sort of depicted here in the card, that the sun is setting. We can see the sun setting. We have shadows here. Swords are in the sand, or the weapons are in the sand. They've been dropped, and the battle is over. But whenever there's a struggle, whenever there's a fight, whenever there's anything like that, and usually with Five of Swords, I would read this as external. So this might be something as minor as you've had a pretty big disagreement with a coworker, or maybe you and one of your children had an argument and the argument's over, but there's still some fallout. It's that sort of energy. Whenever we win, and Five of Swords usually indicates that you've won, whatever this is, or you've come out on the better side of things. That there will be a loss. That there's always, you as they say, you can't break an omelet, or you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. And that's sort of this card. So let's think about what we lost. Let's think about what we've given up. What sacrifices have we made to have this victory? Is it worth it? Was it worth it? How do we proceed? Is there something we need to heal here? Is there something we need to apologize for? Is there something we need to rethink? Maybe we need to figure out the truth of the matter by tuning into this Page of Swords and really looking at this from a non-emotional place, and focus on what's real, focus on what the facts are, and focus on where we go from here. But the good news is that whatever this is, it's likely over. But consider what was lost. Consider, even though you might feel victorious, quote unquote, in whatever this was, consider what was lost and what you might need to do to release that, heal from it, repair it in the case of a relationship. Take the time to think about that today. For Tuesday, we have Six of Pentacles, and this card kind of lets us, kind of wants us to take, I'm sorry, this is Four of Pentacles, never mind. Four of Pentacles, which came up last week reversed too, so we've got some energy flipping, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Forgive me for not being brilliant at Roman numerals all the time, but we have Four of Pentacles for Tuesday. And this is about, again, how we guard our resources. What are we keeping from other people? Are we keeping it as a form of self-preservation, which is fine. If you need to hold things tightly because you are trying to preserve and take care of and survive for yourself, that's okay. Are you being intentionally stingy or selfish, though? And I love here that we have this tree that's been cut down, so the obvious resource was taken. But then there's all of this underneath that's clinging to the roots that, if we go beneath the surface, if we actually get in touch, there might be more here to give. There might be more here that's valuable to give. And that might very well be our lesson for this, is to take some time and think, like, are you giving superficially? Is there more to give? Or are you giving what is superficial so that people feel like they've gotten something, but you're protecting what's really valuable to you? And neither approach is a bad approach necessarily. Although if you're being really, really stingy and you can help someone that really needs help by giving resources, I would say this card's letting you know to do that. But if you are in a place where you are protecting these valuable resources and giving superficially to protect yourself, maybe you've been wronged before when you've been overly generous with friends. Maybe they never paid you back. Maybe maybe you've made some mistakes. And so that's okay too. So let's examine tomorrow on Tuesday, how we use our resources, how we give with our resources, and what is the best way to proceed with that. For Wednesday, we have Wheel of Fortune, which is also our card of this year. And Wheel of Fortune lets us know that whatever goes around, it comes around. Short and sweet. It's a balancing of all of the elements. We have water, air, fire, earth, the balance. So we're balanced. A wheel is fairly balanced. It's without end, without beginning, without end. It's night and day. It's dark and light. It's all of that. But it is constantly spinning. We're constantly moving through all of these things. Just like we're constantly moving through a lot in our lives. Just like we're constantly moving through different phases. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. And if we are down, that wheel's going to spin around again. I think this goes nicely with our Five of Swords, that wherever we are in this energy, this feeling like, okay, maybe I won, but also what's the cost? That's going to come around again. If you want this relationship to be repaired or whatever this was, you can heal it. Just give it some time. Let that wheel spin. And I think another message here for me with the Wheel of Fortune, especially now, is if things feel chaotic, you can choose to be the center of the wheel. You can choose to be the spoke, that everything goes around, but you stay relatively steady. There's that too. I also kind of love that this woman on the card is blindfolded, because fortune is luck a lot of times. Fortune is chance. Fortune can be taking a risk and seeing how the wheel turns. And so sometimes we don't know. A lot of the times we don't know in life. The best laid plans of mice and men, as they say, which I think is my third reference in this reading. So you're welcome. You're getting you're getting my best today. But yeah, so let's just take it as it comes. Let's try to relax. Let's try not to get spun up in the chaos and try to stay in the center here and see what comes around for us. And if you are in a position where maybe you're at sort of the bottom of the wheel, I like to call it, just take a breath, give it some time. It will turn back up. That's life. That's life. That happens. For Thursday, we have the Hermit card. And I like this with Page of Swords too, because Page of Swords again is about that knowledge of truth and authenticity. And the Hermit reminds us on Thursday to go kind of into ourselves, to take some quiet time. Maybe silence the phone for a bit, maybe do a meditation, but take some quiet time to think about, where's our inner path leading us? Where's our inner light leading us? Where's that inner wisdom? What are we being called to do, told to do, guided to do? And the Hermit really does indicate we want to take some quiet time for peace and reflection for that. We want to take as much time alone as we can. And I know for a lot of us that can be hard. We have jobs, we have kids, we have activities, we have friends, we have lives, which is great. It's great that we have lives. But the Hermit does let us know that we should be taking some time for ourselves when we can in the next few days and really get quiet, get still, whatever that means to you, and take a moment to examine where you are on that inner path. Maybe it's a spiritual path. Maybe if you're a religious person, maybe it's a religious path. It can just be a path of knowledge or quest for knowledge. But take some time to evaluate that. And even if you don't feel like you're on that sort of path, take some time just to be still. Be still, be quiet, see what comes up. We don't spend a lot of time in quiet in today's world, and the Hermit is always a good reminder to take a moment and do that. For Friday, we have Six of Wands. Love it when Six of Wands shows up, because Six of Wands is all about being seen in who you are. Maybe you've had some epiphanies about the truth of you from your Page of Swords. Maybe we've processed all of this and like the good, the wheels turning back up for us. Maybe the Hermit led to some revelations, but we are ready to celebrate ourselves. Let's celebrate our victories. Let's celebrate our successes. Let's celebrate what makes us awesome, what makes us unique. Let's not be afraid to be seen in that. And to be fair, if life hasn't been going so well lately for you, take a moment on this Friday. Take a moment on Friday to maybe think about one or two things that have gone right, that have been good for you. Even if it's something like it was a sunny day and you took a walk in your favorite park. There's nothing too small to celebrate. So celebrate both the big and the small on Friday. Celebrate yourself on Friday. Maybe write down a few things you really like about yourself, or just take a moment to think about a few things you really like about yourself. For bonus points, tell someone else how amazing you are and what you like about yourself. It never hurts. Like I said, you can be proud of yourself. You can celebrate yourself. You can be confident in yourself. You can even brag about yourself without being conceited. I promise you, you can. Let yourself be seen in all those amazing good things that make you you. And here we come, as promised. My favorite, or one of my favorite depictions of Seven of Pentacles is this lovely, lovely card here, which I love that these are pumpkins. I love that we have this big pumpkin vine that's grown up this trellis. We have a shovel, we have a clipper. We've got these lovely, lovely pumpkins of all shapes and sizes. Whoever grew these pumpkins loved these pumpkins. Loved them enough. Oh, and I love that it says they're peas. Oh, so that we got pumpkins and peas. We've got some magic happening here. We've got some peepkins, if you will. But really, Seven of Pentacles is about taking pride in our work. So again, hey, we got a little Six of Wands action. We've got a little Seven of Pentacles action. Six of Wands, let that energy flow into Seven of Pentacles and really take a moment to celebrate how much work you've done to get where you are. Maybe draw on the Hermit, maybe draw on the inner reflection, maybe draw on this wheel spinning and bringing you up into a new direction. And this reflection, take all of it and take a moment to appreciate how far you've come, what you've built, what you've done. Take a moment to really think about all of the effort it took to get this result. And maybe we're not all growing peas and pumpkins. Maybe it's an art project. Maybe it is a school paper. Maybe you're working on a PhD and you've just turned in your thesis. Good on you if you have. Maybe you're close to completing your marathon training program. It could be any of these things. Maybe you finally made a doctor's appointment that you've needed to make. But anything like that, anything that you've built, anything that you've finally done, anything that finally is okay, here it is, I've done it. Take a moment to celebrate that. Take a moment to appreciate that. Take a moment to just breathe and look back. Look back at what you have. Take a moment to step away from these pumpkins and be like, yeah, I grew those pumpkins. I built that trellis. I dug that hole. Take a moment to appreciate all of the steps that brought you where you are. And how awesome that is. How much you've done to make this a great place to be. And that is our Saturday. For Sunday, we've got the moon, which again, much like the Hermit, the moon to me is one of those cards of really, really kind of paying attention to our inner world in a way that we almost go beneath the surface in ourselves. We go to those places that maybe we don't normally illuminate. Maybe we don't normally let them see the light. Maybe we keep them sort of in a shadow place. And we're not necessarily afraid of them. This is not a spooky card. But the moon does tell you to tap into that deep inner self, that deep place, that deep inner knowing, those intuitions, those dreams. Pay attention to the things that pop up in life that might seem like a coincidence, but let's be honest, we all know it's not a coincidence. And really tune into what that's trying to tell you. Pay attention to what comes up, especially, like I said, in those dreams or dreamlike moments or moments of intuitive hit and intuition. And again, maybe in this quest for our self-knowledge and getting to know ourselves deeper, let yourself go to those places that maybe you don't examine. Maybe something is coming up that you're ready to release. I believe that sometimes those painful or embarrassing memories come up because we're ready to let go. We're ready to release. And the moon on Sunday encourages us to take a little time to do that. And that is our reading for this week. Monday, May 18th, 2026. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your comments. If you think someone else would enjoy this, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I also love doing personal readings for folks. They are delivered much like this video, so you will get a private video link of your reading done personally for you. I can do them for pretty much all occasions, all occasions, all topics. If it's something that I'm not able to do a reading for you on, I will let you know. But no, I love doing personal readings. You can find out more information about that on my website, which is in the profile. The link's in the profile. And again, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate each and every person that watches these videos, even if I don't know who you are personally. And I look forward to doing this again next week. Have a great week, everyone.